All right, so we are moving forward with the rest of this bathroom remodel here. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to remove the light fixture, the mirror, the vanity, and the toilet. Now, there's a lot of things to consider before you just go ahead and start ripping them out. We got to make sure what's connected, what's not connected, how it's connected. Otherwise, we can cause additional damage that may lead to further repairs and more time spent in this bathroom. So first and foremost, what we got to do is we got to make sure this vanity is going to be able to get out of this door. So when you're doing that, you always want to make sure you grab your tape measure. And I know it's 30 inches wide. I've already measured that. And now we're just going to measure to the width of the vanity here. So we're right about 22 and a half inches, just shy of that. And now we got to make sure that the door opening is the same. If not, we may have to remove the door. And worst case scenario, I do not want to have to move the door frame. So the door opening is going to be plenty. It's looking at about 28 inches there. So let's get to it. All right, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove the mirror. One thing I don't want to have happen is go ahead and disconnect everything on the vanity, rip it out, and then have this mirror shatter and break. We want to make sure that safety is our number one priority. So I've got my cordless power drill here, and there's two screws that are holding this mirror on, and then two bottom pieces there. I'm just going to unscrew those, lift the mirror out, and then I'm going to move on to the light fixture. Boy, those didn't look like they were attached to anything behind that there. Glad to see that there's no damage behind this wall. You know, a lot of times people will hang things up and there'll be a hole that I've noticed. Put that cap back on there. So it's time to get underneath this vanity to take a look at what we're dealing with, what needs to be connected. That way we could pull it out and see what lays behind that. It's always a mystery. All right, let's open this up and see what we're dealing with. So pretty basic, right? I mean, there's nothing really, no mystery behind what's going on here. But one thing I do notice right off the bat is that there's some cracking in that drywall behind it. So that is going to have to be repaired. All right, so we're ready to disconnect everything. There's two bolts or nuts that for this water line here on both sides. One is right at the valve and the other is up top above behind the sink there. To get this out as quickly as possible, I'm just going to unbolt these at the valve, and then I'll unscrew this pipe here. Now, it's really important that you have a bucket or something to catch any water dripping down. I had thought that this valve was off completely, and then I started unbolting this, and there was some water pressure coming out. But we also don't know what's hiding or sitting down in here. And so having a bucket will eliminate any mess that you have to clean up. So let's go ahead and unbolt this. I have my bucket there to catch any water. All right, and then we'll move around to this side. And then let's remove this P valve here. Get a glove on so I can get some more torque on that. Oh yeah, there's quite a bit of fluid in there. Now the worst part about this whole ordeal to me isn't the water, it's not the mess, it's the funny position your body has to get into in order to get around this. So I gotta put her pretty good. Now this should just slide off. And I'm just gonna drop it right in the bucket. Oh yeah, that's gross. So I had to remove the countertop of the Vanity in order to pull it out, which was no big deal, just removing these screws right here. But when I went to pull this out, I noticed there's a drywall repair that I'm going to have to take care of. But it's not the end of the world. You see there's a lot of stuff that fell down between the crack of that Vanity there. Little rubber ball I could play with when I get bored. And looks like a couple new paint brushes down there, so that's a score. So I definitely didn't expect to see a big drywall crack like that. So that's just a little bit extra repair work and a little bit more time it's going to take to get this bathroom done. Well, moving on. All right, now that we removed the Vanity, the next thing we're going to have to do is remove this toilet. And that's really pretty easy. First, we're going to have to turn the water supply off at the valve, which is right below the toilet reservoir tank here. And then we're going to have to flush all the water out of it and then unbolt it from the floor. And then we just move it and set it to the side. Then we can go ahead and texture this wall. So that there is the water valve for the toilet. And to turn it off is really easy peasy. So I'm just going to set the camera down here. All we do is we just turn it. And then we just flush. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that now there is some water, as you can see, still left in there, and there's a little lip around that drain there that is holding the water back from it all going down into the toilet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sponge here. I'm just going to soak it up, squeeze it out into the bucket here. Now the water in the tank is absolutely clean water. All right, so now the tank is completely emptied and dried. Now we got to come and undo the bolt from the floor there. One thing I noticed is with the screw itself, you see how it's wobbly, it's loose. So it's not firmly secured in the ground. And that's also mistake that is going to have to be corrected, because you do want to have your uh, toilet screws, you're bolted firmly secured into the ground so nothing moves the toilet. The last thing you'd ever want to have happen is, you go to flush the toilet and the toilet is moved and shifted, and then you have all the wastewater coming out from underneath the toilet and running out onto your floor. Once we've turned off the water valve here, the line will be clear of pressure, that we can go ahead and release or unscrew the water line from the tank. There's a little water in there, but not enough to be concerned with. Just move it to the side. All right, now we have everything unbolted. We're just going to lift the toilet up over the bolts that secure it into the floor. I've laid a little piece of cardboard down here. Every time I've ever removed a toilet, there's a little bit of water droppage that comes out from it. There is a little water that can get caught up into the pipes that go down into the sewer drain. And then I just don't want to create more of a mess that's needed. And I'd rather have any water spill out on a cardboard that I could throw away versus me having to get down on my hands and knees and clean it up. So let's go ahead and lift this up and get it over there. And of course, now we're going to have to replace a new water flange, the wax ring that sits in there. But that's after we get done and we go to reinstall the toilet back onto there. But as you noticed, or if you heard, there was quite a bit of water that splashed out. So I'm going to have to get a towel and clean a little bit up here. But, such is life, right?